Volley IQ segment of the day. I hate the word communication. Talk, communicate. It is the worst. It's my pet peeve. Overused. Why, Bry?
Well, I think we hear a lot of coaches just say, make sure we're communicating, get a lot of energy. And I don't know that the kids know what to talk about. So it just becomes a lot of noise to the kids. Instead of telling the players what to talk about, we're just saying communicate, which is adding more stress and pressure. So I think we can get more specific and away from just communicate and stress kids out and give them no good information.
Yeah, super vague. Super vague. What's going on? What's actually the problem? And what are the solutions that we're trying to get to? So, what we're going to look in film is system. What is your system? You can run a system based on your team, based on your level, whatever that is. It needs to be concrete, and the kids need to know what's actually going on. Number two is know your team, right? Do you have a fast setter, a slow setter, an outside that always kind of cheats in or bails early? And then know the priorities. What's a great volleyball play so that you can step in when something's a little off or you can help out, whatever that is, we have to know what's actually the priority in that situation. So we're going to take a look at some film. So we're taking a look at some OG film, a little more hair for me, but some really cool examples of what communication actually is. So this is a great situation. I'm the second pair of hands. Our setter is going to be moving a long distance. He's a smaller setter. He's fast. But notice how I kind of wait and then bail. I know the situation. I'm in if something's up. If he doesn't make a move or if it was a slower setter, I'm there to make the play, but then I bail because I know he's fast and I know he's going to take that ball. So here's a crazy play right here. Notice how we're reading the play. This ball's going to be trying to find the setter. Notice how our setter doesn't even think twice about taking this ball. He just bails. He kind of goes, okay, it's not on my forehead. I'm not taking it. I'm a little bit overexcited about this because I know we're down and we need to make a play, so we need to get a kill here. So I'm a little bit overexcited, try to get something happening. But number eight, super confident, gonna take this ball. With my body language, I communicate that, hey, this is your ball, or you're taking this ball if I can't get to it. So it's not only verbal, but it's the body language where I'm trying to create smaller zones for someone to make a logical play. Then he takes it, I get out of the way, and then we have four attackers. Here's another play, a little bit of craziness. What I love when this happens and maybe number eight doesn't go for that ball is communicate. You gotta, talk. For me, one, this is high level volleyball and super fast, but know the system, right? I'm going to be taking anywhere in this zone. And then I call it layers. Like number six is going to be in this layer, and number eight's going to be back here in this layer. So naturally, with our feel of the defense, we're in a good system so that when this ball shoots up, number eight knows to chase behind. Number six had a weird back pedal, but he knows and he can commit to that fast play because of the system that's actually happening. And then knowing the team that number six is the right side, not as great as defense, but he's kind of playing that center field position. And I think that's a great example of kind of when people are saying, "Hey, communicate." He is not looking right here and saying, "Hey, yours. No, it's mine. Okay, I'll go." They're going as fast as they can based on prior information and how well you do that in practice, I think is a great translation to when this happens in a game. So if you're not practicing this in a game or not aware, or sorry, if you're not practicing this in practices or in the gym, you're not going to do it here. And you need to be super aware when you're not in the lights, camera, scores, all that.
Yeah, that's really good. So before the plays are happening, do you guys feel or find yourself talking about more things rather than during the play or after?
You got, especially in serve receive, you got to start communicating specifically, like, hey, what's going to happen? What's the future? We'll go over that in like another film. I think you can go super deep into serve receive. But here, you're just super aware of, hey, middle in zone six. He's an outside who's a smaller outside, a little bit better in passing defense. So automatically, you know that this guy is going to take a libero role, and the middle's gonna be very basic in zone six and kind of just move simply. Maybe the chase down happens with this guy because he knows the middle's not as quick. So I think you know based on your team, you know based on priorities of just volleyball, what's likely going to happen, and then your system of rotational defense or this is where the outside sneaks under the block. I think you know a lot of information prior to the actual play happening. And maybe that's like 80% knowledge, and then 20% is, figuring it out. And then maybe that last 10% is actually communicate, talk, be loud. I know it's very comfortable if I go back here, if someone says something, or if I say mine, because I don't know where my teammates are, that allows me to feel comfortable that I'm like communicating. No one's going to run into me in a vulnerable position. So I think that's kind of the split that I'm making in my head.
Yeah.
And then here's just a scramble play that I love. So boom, outside's going to be, hey, I can take this ball. I can switch sides of the court. He just knows volleyball. He knows the priorities here. It's way better for him to make a simple play, which is attack the ball. And therefore, he's going to let the libero take this ball, and then he can go up and attack, recycle. That's just a great play. But right here, when it's who takes the ball, it's not really communicating. It's the outside being aware, saying, hey, it's a little bit slow. Libero's here, I'm here. It would make more sense for the libero to take this, and he's probably going to just set me. I love that play because that's not communicating. We're
Yeah.
not talking about that. Um, it's just a feel sense, kind of like we've talked about in previous videos where you're reading and knowing. And so you don't really need to see or communicate like people think.
Yeah.
So make sure you know your system, you know your team, and you know the priorities. I think that's the biggest form of communication. And then we go into body language a little bit, and then maybe that last bit is communicate. But I think the play happens so fast. So actual communication, the way young players think communication is, I don't think that's actually in play here.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. So when do we feel like communication is good, or at what ages do we start teaching kids, what specifically is going on in plays instead of just talk or just make noise? How do we get them to recognize specific things and get more developed in what we're saying?
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of slack for this video, probably until this point. But the priority for a high level gym is to communicate, to talk, to get like really engaged. You've mentioned that just communication leads to focus. And I think at a high level, you want to get to that gym where you walk in and everybody's talking, everybody's going, and you feel different when you're walking into that gym rather than a quiet gym with 12 players that are just kind of walking around. Um, but it's really hard to get to that point Square one, you start with very specific things. Hey, they're in rotation one, setter's back row, setter's front row, probably progressing into, hey, number four is their best player. She's going to get a lot of sets. Going into maybe hitting styles, right? She's crossbody, she's out of body, or she always hits cross and then tips line. I think you need to be super specific and really like heavy towards, hey, this is it. Rather than just, hey, communicate, you got this, next ball. And then everybody's like, yeah, no, duh, next ball. But instead of saying next ball, check yourself and say, hey, servers in zone one, last two balls were into the net, or last ball was deep, or was a cut shot to zone one. Be very concise and mindful and aware of what you say instead of just saying these fluff words. I was always I was guilty of that, in college. It'd be like, hey, good job. Hey, you got this. And then I never said anything. And once I got to libero national team, it was, hey, the last five serves were into the net, cut to one, deep to zone five. I think he's going to do this and maybe watch out for this. And then an outside after they hit the ball or something, they go and go, all right, I'm just worried about a ball down the line. And then that communication is so heavy and so pointed that people can actually focus through and then go on to the next point.
So it sounds like the big thing here is get away from noise, make things more specific as soon as we can.
Love it.
All right.
Let us know what you think.